Hey everyone, today I'm going to be showing you guys how I've gotten the film look in my most recent videos here in Premiere Pro, and then later on in the video I'll show you guys how you can also do it on your iPhone or iOS device like iPad or anything like that. Before we do get started though, I'm going to let you guys know that this video is in collaboration with Dehancer. So at the end of this video, if you decide that you want to go ahead and purchase Dehancer, go ahead and use my code Ska-Ana at checkout and save yourself 10% off. And also by using that code, you'd be helping out the channel as well. Okay, so now we are here in Premiere Pro. This is where I do use the plugin. You can use the plugin also in DaVinci Resolve. This is from the video you guys just saw. As you can see here, my adjustment layers is where I put the plugin into. I'm going to show you guys how to do it from scratch. So this is actually from today. I was at Cars and Coffee here in my town. I don't do any color correction beforehand. I just let the plugin do all the work. Go to your effects tab and you go Dehancer. Right here will be under video effects, film emulation, and here it is, Dehancer Pro. So once you got your adjustment layer in there, you can put it straight onto the raw clip. I like putting an adjustment layer just so if I do need to do some corrections to the clip itself, like if something's too bright and I can't do it just from the straight plugin, I just go into my lumetri scopes and all that. Once you get into your effects, you grab your Dehancer, you look up Dehancer. Again, under video effects, film emulation, should be Dehancer Pro. So you just grab, click and drag, and when you first do drag it in there, it's gonna look all like bluish. So what you do here is you come over here to your effects controls, wherever you have that set up, and you go to your input. For source, you put choose camera, and then your camera, you select them. They have tons of cameras here, a bunch of different options: Canon, iPhone, Blackmagic, ARRI. So a bunch of different, they even have the DJI D-Log footages from the drones. So I'm gonna go down to Sony a6700. That's the camera I shoot on. And I'm gonna choose S-Log3, S-Camera 3 Cine. That's my picture profile. It does change it a bit, not too much. That's when you go in. Definitely want to turn down my exposure a bit, but not too much. Temperature, I like very warm look, So I'm gonna just turn it up just a bit. Give it to 15. I don't really touch none of this stuff, and I go straight into input. All right, so go straight into film. So on your film profiles, obviously it's the film stock you want to use for the videos. I like to use Cinestill 50D or 800T. I kind of just choose between the two, which one looks best. On the film camera I was using in the intro to this video, I have Cinestill in there. So that's pretty cool. So I just choose which one I think looks better, the 800T or 50D. I think I'm gonna go with the 50D this time. And then you go down to your film developer. Here you can control your contrast, your gamma correction, your color separation, color boost. And I really do like the color boost here. So what you're gonna do is when you go down into these little columns, you wanna click enable if it's not already enabled. I like to use the color boost a lot. What I did notice though, on the skin tones, if you boost it up all the way, it looks good, but if you zoom in like to the skin tones, especially if it's very close onto the skin tones, it makes it look very orange and stuff. So I don't use 100% of color boost. I use less. So actually I think I'm gonna go down to 50 because the skin tones look fine here. You have your contrast boost as well. Obviously, contrast. So you see here. So I'm gonna go up just I'm gonna put it at 5. So what film compression does, if you enable it, you can see kind of crushes or crushes like the highlights a bit. I don't really like using it. I like it very bright, so I keep it off. What expand does in both the black point and white point, what it does, it just fixes or expands shadows and all that good stuff. So here, if we go to white point, it's enabled, right? So you see here, you kind of mess with the brightness on the highlights. So I think I'm actually gonna push that up a little bit, and then go to your black point here. Just play around with it, see whatever looks good. So if you go down to prints, you have your profile. Right now it's on linear. That's what it's set to default. Linear set to default, and then you can choose here your different film prints. It basically just defines the finishing product. Choose different ones. See how that looks. You got Fujifilm, Kodak. I think I like this look a lot though. So I'm gonna go with the Kodak 2383 print film. And then here you have your tonal contrast. You have your target white, exposure, tonal contrast, color density, and saturation. I mainly focus on the tonal contrast here. So I'm gonna add, say 6 even. And then you can kind of see the difference a bit. Well, obviously you can see it a decent amount. And then for my exposure, I'm gonna close this down, go down just a tiny bit. So we go down to color head now. Color head is basically just your color correction. But you wanna go down and enable it. And then you can see here in your, let's see, go down to highlights. Warms them up, cools them down. I really like how this looks already. Down here, we go to film grain. The lower the millimeter, the more effect it has on it. What I like to do is I leave it at 35 millimeter, ISO 250. Actually, no. ISO 50. You can also go to custom. Here in this one, I had a custom film grain and I had it in 35 millimeter. And I just brought back down everything by half because I felt like it was just a bit too much for my liking. Then also the 65 millimeter was just not enough. So coming back here to this clip. So then here on custom, you can play with the sizes and all that. So let's say we do go down to 4 or maybe even lower to 2 for the size. Then the amount, so let's say go down to 15. Film resolution, I usually keep it at 70. I don't really touch that. And then obviously you have it, your shadows, your midtones, and your highlights. You can all adjust it there. Then we go down to halation. Halation is what gives it that little red outline and stuff like that on the highlights. What I like to do is obviously enable it. Already you can see the difference. The lower the millimeter, the more of an effect it's gonna have. Like to put it at 65, so you can customize it to your liking as well, but I like 65. All right, so we go back down here to bloom. Bloom is what basically gives it that very dreamy effect that you see a lot on TikTok and Instagram now. But let's go ahead and enable this, and you can already see here. So let's see it at 8 millimeters. It's very bright. I like, again, using it at 65. So you can add the film damage here as well. And what film damage does, it adds that little like effect of the like scratches, little like obviously little damages to the film. If it was on a like up to the film roll, you can really see it right there. I zoom in more, this little thing right here, disable it, enable it, there it is. And again, I like to use 65. So going down to film breadth, I don't really use film breadth. I think it just shifts your color tones a bit. You can enable it, it's probably hard to tell, but there's that. So what gate weave does, if you enable it, you can see it moves the footage here. It adds like movements and shifts to the footage. But here you go, you can really see it here how it shifts. I'm not a big fan of that, but it's there for the your creative choice. So Overscan, what Overscan does, it adds like that border. Enable it here. It adds that cool border that people it's trending a lot now on TikTok and Instagram. Fully customize it here, but I've always wanted that border, those borders, and I always looked online. I got free borders or whatever, and it's never really worked. But Dehancer has them in here. They are pre-animated as well. That's pretty cool. They are pre-animated here. You can also have the gate move as well. And that moves pretty much everything, as you can see. Or you can just keep it static. And then obviously you go down to vignetting. Enable it. I always do. What's also, which is super cool as well, is you can go down to monitor as your false colors here. And then it also has a clipping indication that comes that it shows in blue. If you can see right there, the blue is indicating where it's clipping, where it's necessarily clipping. So very dark there where the guy's shoes are. But I think that's very useful. Color grading or whatever, you can see where stuff is clipping. You can fix it as needed. And obviously, if you go down to output, it just affects what you've done to the clip so far. Down, it goes all the way back down to the log. And then what's super cool about Dehancer as well is that it has a LUT generator, so you can save your work basically and save it as a LUT and then just apply it to different clips afterwards. So that's pretty much the final product here. Let me see, you can turn this off and see how we started, how it ended up. I'll put the finished product, so here's the finished clip now. Some pros and cons of Dehancer. Very little cons, by the way. It's the only real issue I have with this is how expensive it is. I believe it's $449 for the Pro for the lifetime. Some positives, it's very quick, it's very easy to use. I'm no professional colorist whatsoever. I'm really just getting started on all this, and Dehancer has definitely helped a lot with speeding up the process of color grading and all that. You also have a lot of control over everything you do in Dehancer, which is super cool. It's very in-depth. You can, like I said, with the film grain, Halation and bloom, you can really go in there. And let me actually show you how to do it now on iPhone, which is super cool. On the iOS app as well, you can do photo and video, which is super cool. But with the app, you can just take photos off your phone, And then I can show you guys some before and afters. I'll put them up here. This one was taken today as well at the Cars and Coffee, and then I added the film preset to it. It has a bunch of presets on it. It's just super cool. And I also did a video as well. I saved the very last edit of that photo. They have a bunch of different presets here, right? You can also go to your original. So let's go to original and let's go to edit. Here, go here, your source. You can play with your exposures and all that. And again, you can choose your films. We go all films. They're all gonna be down here. So here's Sinister 50D, 800T. So I'm gonna go with 50T, 50D. Then again, same thing. Have your contrast boost a lot. I'll do 60. You have a black point, your white point. I think the exposure is pretty good. It was shot on iPhone, so everything's automatic. We'll do Fuji. And then you can play with your exposure a bit and all that, tonal contrast as well. And now I'm gonna choose 35mm ISO 50. And you go here for Halation, which I'm gonna do 65 as well. Bloom, do 65. Turn on the vignetting. Again, go through, you play with it. That's kind of going through the app a little bit. Just a quick thing on the app. The app is available as well. But you get so much out of this. I'm barely going through the app. I'm barely just, if you're just beginning in like filmmaking and stuff, you have a camera and you shoot on your iPhone. This is a perfect way to get that film look on your iPhone as well. Other than that, so if you do decide to invest in Dehancer, go ahead and use my code Ska-Ana at checkout, and you can save 10% off, and you'd also be helping out the channel as well by using that code. Other than that, that was my very quick and easy tutorial on how to use Dehancer. Obviously, the more you use it, the more you learn. You can really get in depth with this plugin, and it's super cool. I'm definitely gonna keep using it moving forward. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to use the code Ska-Ana at checkout if you do decide to invest in Dehancer. Thank you for watching. Go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. Thank you.